Fanfare, 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 fanfare. Yoba-doba, it's the Golden Age Pauldcast. It's not really a podcast. It's more of a broadcast. Television show, y'all. Yoba-doba, it's the Golden Age Pauldcast. I don't claim to be a singer, but I'm a real rap swinger. Ba-ding-ding, ba-ding-ding, ding. No, whatever. Yeah. That's your intro. That's what you get. That's all you get. It's the Golden Age Pauldcast. That's a hard word to say, right? But so is podcast. Because what's podcast? People have pods still? Do they have a pod? Do you have a pod at your home? Call in right now and tell me how many pods you have in your home other than coffee pods. Not many pods left, but there is broadcasting to do. People watch their YouTubes for the blog, pod, whatever, outdated reference, the TV show. You know, I'm the Roseanne Barr podcast. Like, we're watching you on YouTube. That was a terrible Roseanne. Anyway, my name is PJ Cote. Some people call me Paul Cote, but those people are churching it up. They're too fancy. PJ Cote. PJ Cote. And definitely from the deep south, although you couldn't tell from my accent. People are like, what's your accent? I'm like, do I have an accent? If I have any kind of accent, it's me trying to imitate what Jason Lee sounded like in a World Industries skate video in 1989. You know, I'll give you $500 and take you to Benihana's if you slide that 75-foot handrail. I'll give you 500 tries. I'll be back next week. Late. That's my favorite thing. Late. This is a show for the skateboard community and for the comedy folks and for people who like to laugh and think. There's a lot of comedians right now that are skateboarders and skateboarders that are now comedians. Well, the comedians can't skate, but there's some skaters. Jason Ellis, shout out to Ellis Mite, Ellis Cam. Shout out to Pancho Moeller. Pancho, I used to film and skate with that dude in San Jose when I was a skate filmer. Well, still I'm a skate filmer. Hasn't made a whole lot of money in 20 some odd years, but woo, I'm still filming skateboarding. That's pretty much my background is skateboarding. And then as soon as I moved to California, got into painting and writing and all the things that California energy does for you. We are here in the Udio, as I like to call it. Those Queensbridge rappers, they like to call it the Udio, so I'm a hood like that. I'm in the Udio, bro. With a creaking chair and a dog named Bella. Now, you're not knowing that Bella is the co-host and producer of the podcast because she's just kind of sleeping, laying on a chair, not contributing much to the thing here. But that's okay. I know I just called it a podcast, but we're going to keep this thing going because, you know, old habits die hard. This is my first podcast, and damn it, I got to work out the kinks here. Shout out to Ray Davies. So, what's the Golden Age, and what's the podcast, and what's the business? Well, I do some things at Cote Comedy, or at Cote Comedy, however you want to pronounce that. It's COTE Comedy on the Instas. I'm just plain at Paul Cote on the X. X gonna give it to you. He gonna give it to you on that website. It's just PAULCOTE. I'll give you a fair warning in regarding to my X activity, my Zactivity as I like to call it. That's just a word and phrase I made up right now. Hashtag XATIVITY. Zactivity. Okay, I invented that. I created it just now. Hashtag Zactivity. XATIVITY. Yeah, I can spell. So on my Zactivity, I only use it for comedy bits or one-liners or just things. Like, for instance, one of my tweets will be like, you guys out here trying to... well, how did I say that again? Remember your exes, PJ. I go, you guys are out here What the hell? How did I say that? PJ Cote, get your brain back in charge. All right, let's work this. I go, you guys are out here trying to keep the peace, and I'm out here trying to get people in tandem bicycles to wave back so they fall down. That was a great setup for absolutely goddamn nothing. Well, here he is, PJ Cote with all his foibles. You guys are out here trying to give peace a chance. Meanwhile, I'm over here trying to get people in tandem bicycles to wave back. Boom. There it was. I said it. Y'all heard it. Once again, this is the Golden Age Pauldcast. We're off to a rousing start. I'm your host, PJ Cote. And I guess I'm on Facebooks too for, arguments. Facebook is the place for the arguments with your fellow low intelligence humans on Facebooks. I love it when, you hear that quote about as soon as the personal attacks come out, you know that you've won the argument. I'm like, I hear that. It's really funny, because then they'll start, finding things. They're really grasping at straws. They're going to really try to find something that they can use as a personal attack. They'll see it in a, last winter, I got a motorcycle jacket so I could get through the winter, without looking like a Oompa Loompa. And this guy's like, oh, look at this guy with his motorcycle jacket on. Probably never even ridden a motorcycle. So I'm like, oh, yeah? I see where you're going with this. I went in on his account, and I'm like, oh, look at this guy. Look at this guy in his baseball cap. Oh, what's your RBI, Honus? Oh, can I get your tobacco card? Oh, swing for the fences. They'll have a picture of them in their underwear. Look at this guy in his boxer shorts. Woo, we got Roberto Duran. Huh? When's your next bout? Huh? Tell me more about the sweet science, friendo. Woo. Or they'll just be have soccer cleats on. Ooh, Maradona. Where's your bicycle? You get the point. It goes on and on. Baseball caps, boxer shorts, tube socks. Ooh, been in some tubes lately? What are you, surfer? Are you catching some sweet? No, maybe that's a stretch. But anyway, yeah, it's the golden age now, We've already transcended the bullshit. I'm not sure if you guys noticed yet because you got to turn off your TV. You got to turn off the TV in order to see real life what's happening out here. What's happening in real life? People are getting along. People are not being divided any longer. People are loving one another. They get it. They're starting to understand that we've already transcended the bullshit. TV's lying, Marge. Turns out this guy, PJ, I was listening to my podcast. I was driving down to Augusta. I listened to this guy's podcast. You know what he told me? He told me the TV was lying. He also told me that everything I believe's a lie. Like everything I was ever raised to believe was a lie. Can you believe that? Can you believe the gall of that guy? He told me my reality ain't even my reality. Shit. I got a lot of thinking to do, Marge. Let's go get us some peyote out of the field. Yeah, I'm a master of accents, I guess, right? I'm like Shmena Carvey. Shout out to Dana Carvey and all the Saturday Night Live cast. I think that's probably one of my biggest influences. I'd have to say my biggest influences are Saturday Night Live, probably the main one. I think one of my first memories was seeing Eddie Murphy on Saturday Night Live. And then obviously Weird Al Yankovic. You're not a Generation X 80s kid without being influenced by Weird Al Yankovic. I was doing recordings much like this. Nothing changes really in this world. When I was 9, 10, 11 years old, we had a little cassette deck, a little handheld tape recorder from Radio Shack. And we would just plug in a cassette tape and get to it. We would do skits and sketches, Saturday Night Live-ish things and cover songs a la Weird Al. So between those two things and Mad Magazine and Cracked Magazine, you have a pretty good idea. I tried to read National Lampoon, but that was really over my head as a kiddo. That and probably, large print edition, Drama in Real Life, Reader's Digest. So, yeah, I got a flair for the dramatic. I'm PJ Cote. Grew up skateboarding pretty much from age 11, 12. Found the skateboard. Not because I saw like a skate video or anything like that, but just because it was fun to ride. The rich kid I hung out with in Dover, down in Dover, Florida, he had a BMX bike, he had a scooter, and he had a skateboard. And we cycled through the three, and by the end of the afternoon, we were all fighting over the skateboard. So skateboarding's the best because of the level of variation. Like right now, I can open Instagram and I can see a skateboard trick that I have never seen done. I'm like, whoever did the front 270 with the to the switch crook, but then they came out backside 180. Like what? Like that was a thing that was never been done before. And now Mark Suchu just did it. Shout out to Mark Suchu. Shout out to all the Bay Area skaters. I grew up in Tampa Bay for the first 23 years, and then I moved to San Jose, California. I hopped in a Honda Civic with Timmy Scrivets, Rodney Geiger, and Danny Renaud. And we left at midnight on a Friday night from Tampa and got to San Diego, Point Loma, pulled up the apartment 2:30 on that Sunday afternoon. So we were heavy dipping in that Civic. I think it was like a 98 Civic. And I just didn't know anybody. I was like, I'm going to go to California and I'll make my way up to San Jose where my sister lives, and I'll get a job and then be a skate filmer. Film skateboarding. I had my VX3 High 8 3-chip. For any of you old skate filmers, that's the first 3-chip before the VX1000 DV. It was a High 8 3-chip High 8 3CCD. That was my cam. I paid $3,000 for it in '95. Woo! I'm dating myself. 94. So that was an expensive cam. I still have it. I've lugged that thing around since 1995. It doesn't work, but I'm actually going to try to retrofit it. Maybe see if I can fit a Mark 1 Century fisheye lens on here. So yeah, there's going to be some skate talk here in the Golden Age Pauldcast, okay? It's going to be skate dominant because skateboarders are actually the coolest people on earth. They, signify everything out to the fashion world. All the things you see on the runway started out on the body of a 14-year-old Mexican skateboarder in, North Hollywood. It's where it started. Skateboarders are the arbiters of fashion. I once did it was like a fashion show, but it was a fashion battle. It was like, I guess, a rap battle, but for fashionistas. And these guys guys and guys had 5 minutes to craft an outfit for their model on stage out of like recycled household materials. And yeah, so it was like definitely eco-friendly fashion thing. And I'm sitting here in my sport coat and my ripped up t-shirt, and there's this little guy. He's the GM or whatever, some kind of like person who works for Gucci corporate. I work for Gucci corporate. Yeah, where do you work? I'm an artist. I work for the earth, man. And he's like, well, what is your skateboarder like? What does that have to do with fashion? I'm like, skateboarders are the arbiters of fashion. And he was like, oh, this dude just said arbiter. Uh-oh. I messed up now. I met my match with arbiter over here. Because, skateboarders might be the coolest people on earth. Like, all the shit I'm into. Skateboards, movie cameras, antique bicycles, records. Like, I'm like a hipster's wet dream. Like, I check off all the boxes. I'm PJ Cote. There's good things happening in this world for people like PJ Cote. I hate it when people use the phrase not unlike myself. So the Golden Age Pauldcast will consist of some interviews. We will have guests. I do have a few confirmed individuals who are like, oh, yeah, I'll do it. And confirmed meaning like, tentative. Some local Erie, Pennsylvania movers and shakers. And then in subsequent Pauldcasts, we will incorporate video, phone calls, Zoomage. For now, this will be audio, and then I will go in afterwards and make a video with photos and maybe video clips or whatever I'm like talking about at the time. Maybe I can cut to. And it will be available on all the things. You'll be able to download it for your cross-country road trip. Get to know PJ Cote. I'll probably start reading my book at some point. Here's chapter 7 for y'all. We're killing time and we're filling space, baby. It's the Golden Age Pauldcast. And there'll be more content, you know. I'll probably throw some tunes in here that I've composed on the garage band. We'll get some theme songs going. We'll be interspersing some lower thirds. We might have a bug in the corner. For those video heads, know what I'm talking about. That's not an insect. We'll just have a little bug, a little graphic. Something that says the Golden Age right there in the lower right-hand corner with a lowered opacity. And then we'll have a lower third, something that just slides in. You know, like on the baseball game, the lower third slides in. Here comes Oscar Anderson at RBI coming out Kensington State All-Star Yellow Gloves champion. This many rap to base. That's my crackhead baseball announcer. His name is Rap Brad Rabbity Brap. One of the characters that you'll be hearing interviews with in the Golden Age Pauldcast will be with none other than Rap Brad Rabbity Rap coming out straight live out of your front coming up to base. He was born. That character was born in a joke that I did about a baseball announcer announcing at a glory hole. I will save that joke for a later time, but you can pretty much just use your own imagination in that accent and come up with your own Rap Brad Rabbledy Brap bit. How'd you get your name, Rap Brad Rabbledy Brap? Well, it was real simple. I was a young man. I was really into rap music. I like to rap. You like to rap, Brad? Yeah, that's why they call me Rap Brad. Okay, so your first name is Brad. Yeah, but I was with a nickname Rap Brad, so you can call Rap Brad Rabbledy Brap if you can. Thank you, Rap Brad. Can you tell me your last name? Rabbledy Brap. Your last name is Rabbledy Brap? Yeah, my parents were egalitarians. Called Rabble. John Rabble. Victoria de Brap. Rabbledy Brap. Hyphenate. No. Hyphenated. No hyphen. Rap, Rabbity Rap doesn't remember if there's a hyphen. Wow, would you believe that? Knocked it out of the park. Wow. All right. Thank you for your time, Rap Brad Rabbledy Rap. We'll see you next time. There's only so much Rap Brad Rabbledy Brap one can take when listening to a podcast like this. Don't you like those quiet podcasts? See, I'm already in the habit. Like those quiet ones are like, the community picnic will be next Thursday. We're expecting many attendees. Carol will be creating her famous artichoke zucchini bread sprinkled with honey clusters. It's very popular. Tomorrow, we're going to learn more about grass-fed beef and why you shouldn't eat it. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out the distance to which I should speak into the microphone, but I'm a bit of a projector, so, you know, both literally and figuratively. No, you're the weird one. I'm just staring at you, that's all. No, I'm a romper room projector. Hey, what did you mean by that, PJ Cote? Who knows? Who knows what anyone means when they say the things they say? You know what? We're just being in the moment. Life is a freestyle. Yeah, I mean, am I just going to get on the mic and then just start beatboxing in here? And then, I'm going to kick a flow about what I know. We are talking on the audio. This goes out to all my sisters and bros. You can't even tell if I'm wearing clothes. I might be naked as a jaybird. And then I make you say word. How long can you do that? I'm just breaking into dumb raps in the middle of my... I'm a freestyler. I don't like Kool-Aid. I prefer Weilers. I like strawberry preserves instead of grape jelly. No, sorry. We're not going to do that. I mean, we're going to do it sparingly. Once in a while, maybe we'll get a rapper in here. Speaking of rappers, shout out to Copyright. I'm pretty sure I could probably finagle Copyright to join the podcast for some Golden Age discussion. We want to do discussions, man. Like, this is like no small talk zone. One of the phrases for the podcast will be small talk sucks. And as soon as somebody comes in, I'll have like a sound effect on a button, like the sound you get in like Family Feud when you get the question wrong. Survey says, it's the same one. They'll be like, small talk sucks. Just get a sound effect. Small talk sucks. So we will know small talk sucks. And we will not be doing small talk. It's like, tell me how you lost your virginity, Mrs. Rodham Clinton. Like, we're gonna get mad real if we can. What's a podcast for? It's for speaking your truth. What if my truth is negative? Be negative. That's the vibration you want to put out into the universe. Please. We're in a no judgment zone, like that one place. It's a gym. I'm trying to get people. We won't fat shame you ever, except behind closed doors. Woo! I'm telling you guys, the podcast is going to be. You're here in the beginning. If you got on board for the first one and you just signed up for the inaugural Pauldcast, brought to you by the Golden Age. Good golly, you're in at ground level. Life is good and it's getting gooder, and you're a big part of it. So in the Golden Age, we celebrate the cosmic party. Hey, PJ, yo, it's a cosmic party, bro. It sounds like a blast. Is there drugs? No way, man. We're high on life at the cosmic party. We've transcended. We don't need hallucinogens to learn that we're all one with the universe and, just float like a leaf on the river of life, bro. Is that what the Golden Age is? Well, yeah, that's something I've been reading about since the early 90s. I've been into all this new age, what you call new thought, new age. My mom was raised in what they call unity consciousness. Oh, that sounds pretty hippy-dippy. That's been around since like the mid-1800s. But wouldn't call myself religious. But I feel I'm like spiritual, not religious, like, oh, that's, what a cliche. That's like the same as live, laugh, love. I think I'm going to get like a death metal tattoo that says live, laugh, love, but you can't read it until you like look real close, and it says, I guarantee there's already a t-shirt somewhere on Pinterest that says that exact same thing, live, laugh, love, in metal script. There's no ideas that haven't already been. Yeah, so I just tell jokes, like if something happened to me and it also happened to somebody else, like, do I not to get to tell a joke about that if it happened to me? Like, where's the joke database where I can like Google something up and research if somebody else told a joke about a thing so that I can make sure to not sound like a biter? It's like, damn it, somebody already did a joke about a dog licking their balls. Now I can't do that joke. Damn it. So yeah, dude, what else? The Golden Age Pauldcast exists to talk about positive shit and to not talk or dwell on negative stuff or even acknowledge negative stuff. There's a thing out there, it's called fear porn. I'm gonna tell you right quick, right? This thing, it's a concept they call fear porn. Now, in fear porn, they make you think like shit's like the world's going to end, like us humans are powerful enough to screw up the whole goddamn environment. Like we're as if the earth ain't done with us yet, they just gonna kick us off the goddamn hind end like a flea off a dog. Come on. Y'all think we can really wield that much power, y'all? Shit. That's fear porn right there. Oh, there's going to be World War III. There's atomic bombs coming. It can't happen, people. I'm not trying to get too deep on the first friggin' podcast here, but it's not going to be allowed to happen. There will be no nuclear holocaust. Fear porn is just a thing they put on TV because it's like that movie Monsters Incorporated with the scream machine. They pretty much just absorb your screams. That's all they do. And they take that fear and they use it for their power source. That movie was prophetic, telling us that, if you are buying into fear, like, I really don't even try to say the word concern. That concerns me. That terrifies me. That Like, I don't remember the last time, like if somebody walks in, I turn a corner and someone's right there. Ah, shit, you scared the shit. Yeah, like that, sure. Like what fear is intended for. But fear isn't intended to make us feel like there's not enough, to have like a not enough mind state about this universe. And I'm talking to Scotty G right now. He's like, what time is the podcast? And I'm paging him with the words right now, or paging him, right? I'm doing it as we speak, brethren. So maybe this will motivate him to bring himself down and be the first ever guest on the PJ Cote Golden Age Broadcast, a.k.a. the Pauldcast. Keeping it realer than your average bear. And another thing I want to mention real quick, well, I don't know how long we're into this already, but there's also a comedy event that we are doing, and by we, I mean the royal we, the editorial. It's me doing it, and Scotty is helping. It is the Golden Age presents Comedy As You Are. Comedy As You Are is a no-holds-barred open mic of hilarity where everybody is welcome to join in. Please join Comedy As You Are on Saturday nights. Just meet me at the clock. Meet me under the clock. If you're from Erie, Pennsylvania, you should know what that means. Meet me at the Boston store at 7 o'clock on Saturday night, where the Venerable Voodoo Brewery is allowing my hijinks and that of my close cohorts to commence forth there. I'm just messaging Scotty back on he can come now if he wants. But if not, then we're going to have a solo creep. And we're going to get this thing done for, I guess, a test run. And by test run, it means it'll be so good that it will end up out there anyway, because, that's how great PJ is, especially when he refers to himself in the third person. And I don't know anybody who doesn't just delight in that activity. That's not narcissistic at all, no. Anyway, I'm originally from Tampa Bay, so I probably didn't really get a chance to elaborate, but my last name is C-O-T-E, Cote or Cody, as you like. I don't like to, complicate it. I like to give people their option, their own choice as to how they want to do it, because if you put proper accent marks, there's actually a circumflex over the O and an aigu over the E. Nope, that's not infant baby babble, folks. That's my genuine moniker. So literally 50% of my name has an accent mark. How fucking pretentious is that, people? Like 50% of my name has an accent mark. It's like if my name had a mustache, it would be like a handlebar one that's like twisted up in a circle in the corner. But our name would often be mispronounced. Back in the day, we'd get sales calls. Hey, is Mr. Cote there? My dad would be like, no coats here. Man, want to go check your coat rack out there by the foyer in your general mudroom area for some coats, because no coats here, sir. I thought that was cool. But you know how kids fuck with your name, right? So if we're Cody, then now we're Cooties. We're the Cootie twins, me and my twin brother. We're the Cootie twins, and then since you're from Tampa Bay, that's also another feminine hygiene product. So now you're Kotex from Tampax. Thanks, everybody. I'm Kotex from Tampax. Some people know those references. I don't think they make Kotexes. Do they still make Kotexes? Hey, an NPC lady in the corner of the room, are Kotexes still manufactured? I know they got the Tampax. I used to take the Tampa, cut out the Tampa from the Tampax box, and then I would tape it to my skateboard. That was a pretty cool thing for me to have done, right? That's a thing I just made up right now. But yeah, Cote. I just think it's kind of funny being a twin. We were the butt twins, me and my brother. Which one's left cheek? Which one's right cheek? Oh, you're right cheek? And I'm not going to acknowledge that. You can call me the Cootie twins. Can I defer to Cootie instead of the butt twins? Thank you very much. but we were twins. It was really weird. Like when I was born, I didn't really have a name. I always thought about changing my name to Mr. No Name. I always thought Mr. No Name would be a cool name to use, seeing as I didn't have a name when I was born. I was just nameless, Paul Nameless, or John Doe Nameless. My brother came out, and there's your Christopher Paul. He's got the name Christopher Paul. We're all out of names here. We're all named out, and he pops out. And he's Christopher Paul. So what are you going to do with me? I come out 5 minutes later. My mom's 44 years old. Sidebar, what type of mother at 44 doesn't even go to a doctor or get a sonogram or even check to see that there's two human beings fighting it out inside your ever-loving abdomen? Just squeezing through, kickboxing through, just fighting like Mortal Kombat in an abdomen. My mom said her whole gut would fall from one side to the other. The whole unit would just fall from one side to the other during our knockdown, drag-out fights inside of her body. And here I come out like, hi, hey guys, late arrival to the party. I hope it's not, anyone got a name for me? Anyone want to crack my ass, open my lungs up, or hey guys, woo, over here. It's like I was like running to catch, hey, wait up. That's like me. That's the story. Wait up. Bringing up the rear. Here's PJ Cote bringing up the rear. I'm rabbity rap. Here comes PJ Cote. He's bringing up the rear. Better speed it up. Rabbity wow. Yeah, I hate that guy. Brad Rabbledy-Brap. Don't you hate him already? It's like, oh man, I hate it when PJ does his Brad Rabbledy-Brap pieces. That bit can go jump in the lake. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Go jump in the lake. That's our catchphrase for both comedy as you are and PJ Cote as he is, and the Golden Age Pauldcast as it is. Our catchphrase is something my dad used to say. Go jump in the lake. That's apropos for Erie, Pennsylvania, right? I live right on the bayfront there, so I can go jump in the lake pretty easily if I wanted to. Go jump in the lake. It's just a nice way. It's like if an Amish person is like super like perturbed, like seething with rage, they'll be like, would you just go jump in the lake? Ooh, very sacrilegious thing to say, Hezekiah. Take it back, Hezekiah. You just go jump in the lake. Oh, rip my homemade shirt off. It comes off so easy. Go jump in the lake. That's a nice way it sounds. Someone would go fuck off. It's better. It's better because, maybe they can't swim. Maybe you just commanded them to their death. Well, I will go jump in the lake, by golly, but I can't swim, so I guess this is arrivederci. I like to make my southern people way more intelligent than they are. I always think it's kind of funny to make hayseed type of southern characters as like uber intellectual. Maybe I've just described myself. I don't know. But I'm drinking coffee here for the Golden Age. I'm eating hot tamales here. Not the Mexican food, but the candy. I have procured some mambas because I like to keep the saliva flowing here in the Golden Age. Because the Golden Age is going to be a time of fun and bemusement and merriment. It's not going to look much different from the regular Earth, but it'll be Earth 6.0. It'll be Earth with a lot less bills. Won't be much different. You'll be like, oh, well, now I have like a whole day, and like maybe I'll work an hour or two here in the Golden Age. Working's fine for a couple hours here in the Golden Age, but I want to go tiptoe through the tulips. I want to go run around. I want to work on this spaceship I'm designing. I want to go have a psychic conversation with somebody in Namibia, because that's interesting to do today. The Golden Age contains the cosmic party. So my final homage, if I ever do a final skate video, full-length masterpiece, I'm going to call it Cosmic Party. Now, if you want to make a skate video before then and call it Cosmic Party, go for it, but just know I time-stamped it. But yeah, I came from a skateboard background, like nobody really knew what skateboarding was. They were, we talk, hey, dude, look at that ledge. You see that guy do that fakey flip, back tail, and then he like body varial out. Then he like landed a manual and did like a switch, shove it out. Like, people were like, oh, is that English? Like, it sounds like, scientific jargon. But ever since that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater game came out, now everybody pretends like they know about skateboarding. They're like, "Oh yeah, of course. You know about Randy Reynolds, right? He's the king of the frontside 180 ollie kickflip. He does the frontside flip down everything. Frontside flips the whole world. Randy Reynolds. Baker Boys, Baker. You know about that, right? I got to get back to my accountant's job. Like, skateboarders have invaded the vernacular. I'm like, I don't even call it a skateboard. I'm like, let's go grab our stick. Let's grab the stick, bro. Let's grab our shred sled. Let's go get the shred sled and skate this bank over here. I got a kickflip for this bank. It's a fakie. That's my favorite, the shred sled. I'm going to open a skateboard shop. I'm going to call it the Shred Sled Shed. And then anyone who walks in, if they can say the name 5 times fast, they get 20% off for life. Probably never have to redeem that discount. Come on into the Shred Sled Shed, where I'm obviously better than you because I've practiced saying it. Time to kickflip. Yeah, every time I skate, if I don't kickflip first try, we're done. I'm done. I'll put it back in the trunk and leave. I won't do that part. I'll just say it to sound cool. But I got to do a kickflip. I'm 48. Sorry, you can't see the gray beard on the podcast, especially since it's not a podcast. You can't see my gray beard on the Golden Age Pauldcast, as it were. But I'm a 48-year-old gentleman. I probably already gleaned enough of that based on my previous information about being Generation X and homeschooled and the 80s baby. My first job, I got paid $4.25 an hour. I worked at Al's Wonderland. It was this Canadian guy from Thunder Bay, Ontario, Al Massaro. And Al, he was probably kind of like a carnival guy, so he would collect like a janky tilt-a-whirl and a deflating bouncy house and like some leaky rubber gas-powered bumper boats. And he would just like throw in a crappy, mini golf course in one corner and like force me and my twin brother $4.25 an hour to run back and forth, heating up a Red Baron deep dish pizza and then selling some tickets and then pulling kids out of the deflating bouncy house before a kid is, crushed and, collapsed to death. And then the damn tilt-a-whirl breaks and there's pins flying everywhere and you got to yank a kid off that before he gets slingshotted into the gassy pool full of bumper boats. The sun shining off the gassy surface in purple and yellow hues of phosphorescence. And then you got friggin' circus music playing on a cassette and loop. And you're just staring at the clock all day because there's no customers waiting for time to leave so you can go home to not $4.25 an hour. And I thought it was so dope when I got hired at Subway. Like, oh, you mean to tell me if I get hired at this Seffner Subway, at the Subway in Seffner, Florida, that you'll pay me $5.50 an hour? You mean to tell me my time, my labor, my good works amount to $5.50 an hour at this job? Where do I sign? Let's go. And it had a drive-through. Oh my God. This was the only Subway in the whole state of Florida in 1993 that had a fucking drive-through. So I had the added value of like, okay, you're making somebody a BMT over here in the front counter. Now all of a sudden you hear that me, and you got to hustle over to the drive-thru and put your foot on the stupid pedal and speak into the box. And then the guy, in the drive-thru is like barely intelligible, not just because the mic is janky, but because they're from the deep south, right? He's like, I want a 6-inch Coca combo. I want you to flip over the meat so the bologna faces up. I want you to put extra cheese and mayonnaise, and I don't want no mustard. And I want extra maters. and I want extra green pepper, and then I want the vinegar, but I don't want no oil. I'm sorry, sir. Did you say oil? That's 2 syllables. I don't want no oil. I'm sorry, sir. That's a double negative. So are you saying that you do want the oil or you don't want I don't want no oil. You think I'm speaking Turkanese? No, sir. It doesn't sound like Turkanese at all. I don't want no oil. What part of my American talk is not registering with you, son? That was my experience with the drive-thru at Seffner Subway. But yes, that's a very redneck sounding town. Seffner. Y'all ever been to Seffner? Because you can't say it like that. If you walk into town like, hello, I have just entered the quaint borough of this little hamlet known as Seffner, Florida. What'd you say? What'd you say, boy? I said I'm here in Seffner. Boy, you don't say it like that. You say Seffner. Seffner. Say it to the top of your lungs, and you got to slap a knee while you do it. We're going to run you out of town on a rail. And then they grabbed a rail, like a wooden rail from the railroad track. They put him on the rail with his Seffner talk, and they ran him out of town on a rail. He was run out of town on a rail. Because you're saying that, Seffner. You really have to lubricate right between your front teeth. Just to say, Seffner. I'm not going to say Seffner any more times because you get the point. They're all hayseeds. So Seffner was just as redneck a town as its name belies. But I'm not a Seffnerite, no sir. I was originally born in Plant City. That's why I know I'm a plant from another planet. When I was like 10 years old, I tried to convince my brother that I'm not his identical twin brother and womb mate, as it were. I tried to convince him that instead I was a clone from the planet Phoenix. Now, it would be easy for me to make up a story like that, but I swear to God. And I spent about a year trying to do that. He's like, no, stupid, Phoenix, it's a city in Arizona. I'm like, yeah, and a planet in the outer Osiris, Resurgis, Aegis, Burnham region. What do you think the city was named after? Aliens from Phoenix settled it. Sometimes it's fun to just make something up and see how long you can, keep it going to try to convince people. Like, for instance, when I was younger, I got an idea of something I'd like to see, so I decided to make up the fact that it was real. Like, I told my brother and others, I'm like, yeah, I found this porno tape, and it was all just a video of people masturbating in fast food uniforms. And so they'd be like, oh, was there a Burger King? Like, of course. Was there a Subway? Like, yeah, I think so. But what about a Chick-fil-A? I'm like, oh, there's definitely a Chick-fil-A one in there. Yeah, it was a girl, too. Yeah, that ironic factor is extra high. Speaking of irony, how about them hipsters? I think hipsters are great because they're the first people that tell you you're a hipster. Like, they will project their hipsterism onto you immediately. Now, I'm not denying that I have hipster-esque tendencies. Sometimes I'll hang a handkerchief out of my pocket, back pocket of my pants, various colors, taking a chance with the LGBTQIA+++, left, right, BA, start community. You know, what does my yellow handkerchief mean? Does that mean someone's about to come urinate on me? Like, this is the risks I take with the hanky stuff, right? And, I'm going to hang a purple one out of my right pocket, and I think that means that, somebody wants to, beat my wiener till it's purple. I mean, I don't know what all the code is, and I don't think I want to know. But, yeah, hipsters, they like doing things ironically. Like, I can imagine, here's a scenario where a hipster would practice their craft. They're get on the phone and then someone's like, hello, Doherty Bed and Breakfast, Intercourse, Pennsylvania. How may I help you? Yeah, hi. Yeah, my name is Bethany Burkhart, and me and my fiance, his name's Tomasz, And we're looking to get married. We're looking to get hitched. I know. It's so played out. It's so cliche. I'm getting hitched. Oh my God. I'm going to be somebody's ball and chain. Can you believe that, Tomash? I can't believe Bethany. I'm only saying the names over and over so I can remember it for this joke. And we're like getting hitched, so traditional, and we'd really like to like break from the convention of everything. So we want to have our honeymoon at your bed and breakfast. They're like, well, okay, but why our particular bed and breakfast? Oh my God, do you not see it? You are in Intercourse, Pennsylvania. Okay, we want to fuck ironically. Thank you. You don't get that? It's like, oh, I get it now. Intercourse, Pennsylvania. I'm sure they get prank calls. Does Intercourse, Pennsylvania get the prank calls? I bet they do. I don't think you can have a business anywhere in Intercourse, Pennsylvania and not get at least 5 prank calls a day. You got King Edward? Do you have Prince Edward in a can? Well, you better let him out. You're in Intercourse, Pennsylvania. Oh! Hang up the phone. Intercourse. There's another town that's close to Erie. It's called Northeast. There's a town called Northeast, Pennsylvania. Like, how unoriginal is your name? Why would you call it Northeast? It's strictly directional. Is it, if you're a person who, is unoriginal, do you like to, would you move to Northeast Pennsylvania? Because I just can't form a cogent thought, and I'm not really original. My name's John Smith. I'm moving to Northeast Pennsylvania. I want to be as undefined as possible. I want to be as ambiguous as I can possibly be in Northeast Pennsylvania. Like Northeast, they're like, how come you call it Northeast? You guys couldn't come up with a better name? Don't you have a town founder or somebody? And then you go back in Northeast history and it's like, well, Jedediah Kazawapalobsky was the original founder. Oh, okay, that explains it. Why don't you just call it Kazalabawapski Town? Because the sign budget we'd have gone over on our sign budget. It would have been a 10-foot wide sign, guy. Kazawapalobsky Way. No, we're just gonna go northeast. We're just gonna throw a dart at a directional, and we're just gonna settle on northeast. But I like Erie, Pennsylvania. I like it here. I like having seasons. I think it's amazing to have seasons. That there's a winter. I come from Florida. Florida's kind of like, I would say, Groundhog Day, if I had to guess. It's really a lot like Groundhog Day. Even in the middle of the night, it's still blazing hot. And every day it's kind of the same. It's Florida is a transient state. I think people run away to Florida. It used to be anything south of Tampa up until the 30s was lawless land. So you could just basically run away and go to Venice or Sarasota or just south of Tampa where you could escape the law. And then those people had kids, and then a lot of them stayed. But that's the other thing about Florida is Florida's not Florida. Florida is New Jersey, New York, Michigan, Indiana, Boston, Pittsburgh, other cities that have come to Florida. Typically New Jersey and New York. So I'm pretty much, I'm really excited and enthusiastic about being in Erie, after 23 years in Florida and another 12 years in NorCal, in San Jose, working in Silicon Valley, doing music videos, working for the producer for Smash Mouth. If you're going to get a music job in San Jose, make it with Smash Mouth, right? Somebody once told me I wasn't going to make it in the media. And then I went out there and became an all-star. I got my game on. So you can check out my YouTube channel. It's the Golden Age TV show. So we're going to make the Golden Age TV show the central place to watch episodes of this, as well as podcasts like your Apples, your iTunes, your Spotifys. Even if it's an audio podcast like this, I'm going to do a video part of it where I just bring in pictures and videos and other stuff so I can still be on YouTube's. And then we'll have video podcasts here soon when we get the guests rolling in. So, instead of just tell you what we're going to do, maybe I should provide some content and value. Let's do that. So at this time, I'm going to show you a few of my, show meaning show your ears. I'm showing your orals. I'm orally stimulating you with a few of my X posts. I don't like to say anything other than X. I'm trying to do the brand justice. So one of my last transmissions. I'm just going to come up with all kinds of X gags. Instead of a post, it'll be a zoast. So one of my last zoasts, I think AI is purposely bad so that we'll talk shit about it and it can hear about how fucked up it was so it fixes itself. All right, one more time. I think AI is purposely bad so that we'll talk shit about it and it can hear how it fucked up so it fixes itself. Yeah, that was a zoast I just did recently. I want to hire a financial advisor and then fire them a week later so I can say, you should put the douche in fiduciary. That was a zoast from last week. Here's a zoast I did on the 15th. I said, gay black men are named Kevin. Guess I don't know why I say things, If it's funny, you send it. If it's funny, you send it. Is it true? Is it true that people with Down syndrome are named Jacob and Christopher? Is it funny? Not necessarily funny, but is it true? It might be true. It might be true, and that might make it humorous. Hey man, at least I know if it all falls apart, I can still manage a Buc-ee's in Bluffs, Iowa, right? Start a band with 2 drummers and call it the Repercussions. You weren't shadow banned, it's just no one likes you. If your name is Francis, you haven't had sex in 17 years. I want to direct a pornographic movie and call it Dispensing with the Formalities. Bella liked that one. Bella, thank you. Bella's laughing. Hey, yeah, here's a recent one. How about we didn't start the fire, but it's just me describing my immediate surroundings, like wooden floor, lazy boy, picnic basket, plush toy, planter, lantern, water for the dog. Bella liked that one. Maybe she needs some water. At first I was like, Gus is the worst name for a baby, but then I was like, Gus is the best name for a baby. What the fuck? Head over heels. Your head is always over your fucking heels. When you flip over, it's heels over head. That sounds like something George Carlin would have said. Sometimes I feel like I channel some comedy. Like, for instance, like sometimes I'll get mad and just like argue with God, or I'll like yell at God about being lonely or something missing from my life, or just forgetting how blessed I am. I'm like, hey God, what gives? God over here. Screw you, dude. Like, where's my blessings? How come it hasn't happened for me yet today? Come on, God. And then ever since Norm Macdonald died, I feel like God answers me back in the voice of Norm. I'm like, God, come on. I'm lonely. It's not working out for me. Can you help me out? Like, give me some guidance. And God's like, what are you talking about, guy? What about all those fat girls I brought you, huh? What about that decades-long uninterrupted string of fat girls I brought you? Just big old fat girls. You don't want any of those? What gives, Come on. I miss Norm. I miss Phil Hartman. I think I probably took Phil Hartman's death a lot worse than I took any death that I ever encountered, maybe even my parents. Yeah, I can be confident about that. Like, that's how it's like my brain was not able to process that information at that time and how much I loved, Saturday Night Live. So, even The Simpsons, or, can't say enough about news radio, just everything Phil Hartman was. So, I always wanted to start a football blog and call myself Linus Crimmage. But that's just me, you know. This one time, this girl asked me. There's this pretty girl at the bar. She's like, it was like loud in the bar. She's like, "What do you think about Fleetwood Mac? What do you think about Fleetwood Mac?" And I'm like, Fleetwood Mac is ambrosia for white people. And then she didn't talk to me for the rest of the night. I wonder why. There was this other time I was at this really loud bar in Clearwater, and this girl starts dancing up to me, and she's wearing this red dress, and she's like an African woman. You know, she's not. She was an African woman, not an African American woman. You could just already tell this person is directly from that place, that continent, Africa. And she saunters up to me, she's dancing. I'm like, oh. And she comes up to me, you know, if you get in someone's ear when it's that loud, she gets up. I'm like, "How you doing? My name is PJ." And she's like, "My name is Stephanie." And I'm like, "Yes, I'm certain that was your Christian name." And, "Hi, Stephanie. Where are you from? Where are you from, Stephanie?" She leans into my ear and she goes, "I am from Boston, Massachusetts." And I'm like, via, and I guess I couldn't really continue that conversation. I don't know how many of my things are jokes as much as more observations that maybe don't have a punchline. Maybe I have to try to work on that. Maybe I should incorporate punchlines. I think I like premises better than punchlines, like me explaining to the aliens. No. Rock and roll is they're people talking about what they want to do and then also talking about what they don't want to do. That's rock and roll. And like for rock and roll, you don't really have to like have a really strong subject. You just have to make it sound cool. Like you just come up with a hook. You're just like, "Today I got myself a soup tureen. I got myself a soup tureen. Container for soup, ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Container for soup, ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Container for soup, ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Container for soup, din-din-din-din-din-din, you fucking slut, dun." That's what my brother taught me when we were young. Like cursing gets laughs, you know. Like when you're a young kid and you curse, like it's funny. Like if there was a song that came on, like for instance, like maybe like Stevie Wonder, like "I Just Called to Say I Love You," it ends with a cha-cha-cha. That's when you put in, "You fucking slut, din, 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 you fucking slut." It sometimes works for a laugh. What I like to do is just change lyrics to songs just to make them more funny for me. Like it's pretty easy, right? Like if there's a word that ends or a rhyme that ends in "you," you just change it to Jews. Like, "No matter what you do, I only want to be with Jews." And that's funny. Why is it funny? I don't know. It's funny to me, right? I'm sorry. I love everything. I love everybody. I have no qualms against everybody. I'm very attracted to Jewish women. I'm just going to put that right out there. Do like Jewish girls. You know, now when I do a lot of kind of things about music, you know, it's to me it's a lot of fun to just kind of like look at song lyrics and kind of pick them apart. Like one time Def Leppard was like, "Living like a lover with a red iPhone." I'm like, damn, you had a red iPhone in '85? Duran Duran knew the secrets of time travel. But I used to get in trouble like asking my mom about like song lyrics because I was listening to shit that was way ahead of my time as a kid. Like there's this one song by the Eurythmics, and it's like "Sweet Dreams," and then there's this one line where it's like, "Some of them want to abuse you, some of them want to be abused." I'm like, holy shit. Like, Mom, can you explain something to me? She's like, "What?" Like the Eurythmics song, they say some of them want to be abused. Why would anybody want to be abused, Mom? And I'm like, my mom's like sitting there deciding, do I have to get like the short lesson on BDSM at age 6? Well, I'll tell you when you're older. Like, when I'm older, I'm old enough to know now. That's why I'm asking now, Mom. I'm old enough to know now. I want to know. Who would want to be abused? Well, Mom, please explain sadomasochism to me in a soundbite. Or one time she screwed up once because we were listening to Hall & Oates, and I love Hall & Oates. Nobody stands next to a Pontiac Fiero better than Hall & Oates. Huge inspiration, Hall & Oates. Their hair too, my God. And then Hall & Oates sings a song called Man Eater. And I'm like, Mom, what's a man eater? And it's like, it's a concept, she'll chew you up. Watch out, boy, she'll chew you up. It's not literal. She's not chewing his genitalia. But my mom was like, man eater, you don't want to sing that. Don't sing along that. I'm like, why not, Mom? She's like, that's a song about oral sex. I'm like, hey, Mom, separate concept here, but what's oral sex, Mom? She's like, shit. Mom fucked up. But no, did my 6-year-old brain get elucidated as to what a blowjob was? I absolutely did not. I learned that much, much too late because I'm homeschooled and I was very sheltered. One of my observations I made on the X on April 27th, I said, 311 sounds like nougat. Now, I like that. I like the idea of that. Just like I like the idea of incubus sounds like the equivalent of getting earwax in your mouth accidentally. Ladies and gentlemen, we have air conditioning. They asked me earlier when I started the podcast, the Pauldcast, the broadcast, the Golden Age Pauldcast, would I like to crank on the AC? Would I like them to crank off the AC? And I said, I don't want to be a diva about it, we're not making a movie here. But I'm going to tell you this. I'm totally happy with it. I don't mind. There's some fresh air being blown in here, and I'm loving it. And I haven't been a diva about it. I think they gave me an hour. I don't know how long they gave me an hour. They're like, after an hour, we're cranking on the AC. If this fool doesn't wrap his shit up in an hour, by golly, we're cranking that soldier boy. And they did. So I'm not going to say that that's the sound of a sweeping broom trying to get me out of here, because I'm still doing more. I'm going to read you guys some more tweets, and then we're going to try to keep this compact in our first inaugural ice cold air conditioned Golden Age broadcast, aka the Pauldcast, aka continue to dumb down our concepts. And if you don't like it, quote unquote, go jump in the lake. Cereal is like dog food for people. Working is like being forced to play a really crappy video game for 8 hours that you can never beat. Open a cannabis-infused butcher shop and call it Steaks is High. Open a cannabis-infused butcher shop and call it Steaks is High. Shout out to De La Soul, Pasta Noose, Maceo, and Trugoy the Dove. Skateboarding is the only sport where breaking beer bottles is also a part of it. That's what I love about skateboarding, man. We just interpret our environment in a way different from most humans. And I like that, because if it weren't for skateboarding, I don't think I'd be a painter. I don't think I'd be a writer. Speaking of writing, while I'm, S-ing my own D here on the internets, I wrote a book in 2011. It's called Everything Up to Now. You can find that book on all the evil corporate Luciferian book conglomerates and social retail spheres. Everything Up to Now by Paul Cote, C-O-T-E. I'm pretty easy to find. I'm kind of Googleable. I love the fact that there's other people with my name that have similar stuff. Like there's this one writer from Louisiana. His books are wild. There's a caller, like a square dance caller named Paul Cote somewhere, and he has like square dance videos on the internet, which I'm highly inspired by that. I think I want to do a documentary just about other Paul Cotes and just travel around and find other Paul Cotes. The famousest Paul Cote was one of the original founders of Greenpeace. So That was the hippie Paul Cote. Shout out to Paul Cote. I guess he was like a Olympic sailor and then started Greenpeace. So props to Paul Cote. If you're on the X gonna give it to you. It's gonna give it to you. X gonna give it to you. If you want to go on x.com and just look up Paul Cote, Paulcote, there's 296 posts. Most of them are pretty funny, but I don't talk about anything serious. I don't retweet anything. I don't talk trash. I don't like the whole idea of X. Basically, you're retweeting somebody who you don't agree with so you can talk trash about them and feed them energy and repost their shit. Like, it really, the algorithm, like the way it's set up really doesn't make any sense to me. That's why I use X, not to argue or to repost things and tell people how wrong they are, because what you resist persists. I use it for bits and one-liners. Things like male enhancement, read a book. Or when your state doesn't sell 40-ounce beers and you have to settle for partying as Edward Quarty Hands. And then I have one called Make My Meme, where I'm too lazy to make a meme, so I want somebody else to do it. Edgar Allan Coe, David Allan Poe. Open a basketball-themed restaurant who serves chicken and call it Flagrant Foul. Sorry, I like certain things I say, you know? Like when it's somebody's birthday, I ask them, were they a C-section baby or not? And if they say they were a C-section, I'm like, oh, okay, so you weren't born, you were just removed, huh? Happy removal day, tumor baby. And since you guys like dad jokes, I have one of those. I heard that when coral gets stressed out, it dies. So then I asked myself, like, what could stress out a coral, huh? What could possibly stress out a coral? Easy. Current events. I just audibly groaned for myself. So if this is the part of the podcast where you press stop, then I don't blame you, because that was fucking awful. So, maybe let's not end on a bad note here with the reading of the tweets. So, okay, here's a good one. I was watching the Great British Bake Off, and then during the Bake Off I learned that the English call a turnover, they call it a parcel. So I got the idea, start a band called the Parcels, and then the members of the band, you'd call them Cal Zone. And then on guitar, you got Sam Osa. Then on bass, you got Stromboli. And then your drummer's name is Empanada. He gives a little bit of Latin flavor, Holmes. And I'm old enough to remember when drip wasn't a good thing. Generation X is in the house. Also, just a fair warning to people out there in the world, since I've had some run-ins with some not too savory ladies in my past. Here's a word of advice. If she's got fleur-de-lis embroidered on the butt pockets of her jeans, stay very far away. That's some advice. I think I'm so weird about proper English and speaking correctly because my dad would like purposely mispronounce words and then refuse to be corrected. He'd be like, "It's time for dinner. Turn off the Nintendo. Shut off the Nintendo system." I'm like, "Sure thing, Dad. I intend to, Dad. Turn off the Nintendo." I certainly intend to do that now, Father. So I'd say something he didn't like. He's like, "That's ludicrous. That's just ludicrous." I'm like, "Yes, Dad, especially the T." And then he would threaten us if we were misbehaving, because we go to Chuck E. Cheese every Friday night. He'd be like, "You guys don't start behaving, let's be less careless. We're not going to Chunky Cheese on Friday." I'm like, "Fine. That's completely understandable since that franchise does not exist. At least not in the way you described it." No, cannabinoids are not androids that eat each other. Okay? I remember Poison, the band Poison. I used to like them when I was a kid. And there's a part in Talk Dirty to Me. Another song my mom didn't like me singing, right? There's a part where Bret Michaels, he turns to his guitarist right before the solo. He goes, Cece, pick up that guitar and talk to me. And I'm thinking Cece's looking at him like, I've literally been playing it this whole time. So I imagine if the president forgets your name, he would call you Bobop Bingo Land whilst firing off double finger guns. Now, I don't normally deal in stereotypes, but I'm going to go on the record and say that dudes who wear only Nike Shocks are probably serial murderers. And I think worst rapper name in history, Makeshift Chalk. With an S for the dollar sign, right? And a C for the cents sign, right? So, hear me out. This is gonna be my last one here, because we're running up against it here. How about this? Actually, let's give you a few more. You guys ever have beets? You ever eat beets? Beets are wrong. Beets are just wrong. They're abomination of nature. Here, have a few slices of bloody potato radish so you can ruin that salad with that sumptuous dirt clod flavor. Oh, by the way, it'll stain your entire world. So yeah, I want to bring back some phrases that people used to say, like hiya. You know why hiya is so important? Because hiya made you remember that person's name. Hiya, Jim. Hiya, Connie. Hiya, Frankie. Hiya, Oswaldo. Hiya, Derpadirk. Hi there, Johnny Bowbags. Hi there, Freddie Lindechrist. Hiya, Johnny Mambo Sticks. You remember their name because you had to say hiya. You had to preface it with hiya. And then the other thing is like so long, because it gives you another opportunity to remember the name. Because that's a problem in society now. We don't remember names. If you remember someone's name, like, oh, that person bonded with me. So bring back so long. So long, Freddie Dinklestick. So long, Charlie Postlethwaite. So long, Bernie Dongonger. So long. Bring back the highs and the so longs. And also bring back split. You tell someone to split. Hey, split. Hey, get out. Take off, buddy. Split. Scram. Scram. We need to normalize split and scram. I probably got to split and or scram soon. So I think we're going to try to wrap this whole thing up maybe. Maybe we'll shoot for 120 minutes, much like the MTV television program hosted by Matt Pinfield, who looked like a thumb. Yeah, that was me growing up watching alternative and punk rock. My favorite kind of music is called post-rock. I'm not sure if you guys heard of post-rock, but it's like all the best parts of an indie song, slowed down with some heaviness. It's slow, it's experimental. I make my own post-rock, so while I'm tooting horns here, you can visit Bandcamp, my Bandcamp page. It's cartridge.bandcamp.com. Cartridge, just like a cartridge that you would blow in. .bandcamp.com. The name was inspired by a John Cage song. So there's some experimentalness to it, you know? Like one day I'm going to do like a stage performance, and I'll just do, it'll be like modern art, like indie rock, post. It's like post math, indie post rock. So there's post twice because it's double post. It's like so far in the future. There's like be a 3-part song. This is a 27-minute song I call The Dark Opal of Amaranthicid Part 7. And it consists of 3 parts. The first part is my Aunt Glenda comes out waving this like big extruded piece of aluminum. She's like, and she's just wobbling that thing with her arthritic hands. God love you, Aunt Glenda. She's just wobbling, right? And then I pull out a cage full of birds that are, you know, adversarial type birds, and they're in there squawking and arguing and fighting. And then I get out some water guns and I just start shooting the water guns. And then the frenzied birds are squawking and screaming, and here's Aunt Glenda, and she's wobbling her aluminum, right? And then I start cackling, and then I take a rock and put it on a keyboard on the 3 keys that are like a major chord, and then I start howling, and then the frenzied bird flapping, and then Aunt Glenda and then that goes on for like 12 minutes more longer until I'm writhing on the floor. I mean, it's performance art, but it's what I do, or at least it's the thing I just made up right now. But you can find cartridge.bandcamp.com, and you can download the songs for free, and you can remix them, and they're lossless, and you could do a mashup. I would love to hear you mash up my tunes. Mash it up. But I grew up listening to punk rock. I was a little skater, punk rock, mosh pitter kid, and could never really get into like the other stuff. I like bands. I asked this girl once, like, what's your favorite band? What? Band? Yeah, like, what's your favorite band? Do you like bands? Like, bands? Oh, like music? Like, yeah, music. What kind of music? Oh my God, my really favorite in music is EDM. I'm sorry, what's that? EDM? Is that the name of like a progressive, late 70s prog rock band? EDM, does that stand for electrodynamic mercilessness something? No, silly, EDM, electronic dance music, come on. I'm like, no, I'm okay, so I'm about to have this conversation. We're about to talk about electronic dance music. Oh boy. So yeah, so at first I was really liking into like deep electro, sensey, thunder house, and then afterwards I like really got into like more like progressive side jungle trance dub house, and then there was like happy house, and then I like happy hardcore, and then I like disco house, and then I really got into like Jumble Jum Records, and like DJ Schmabbity was really good on Jumble Jum Records, but then he moved over to X Christmas Records, and I was like, how could he make that move? And then I started getting into DJ Jumbotron, Jumbotron. You guys know, they'd be like DJ Jumbotron, da, 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 da. And then like he was like totally molesting my ears with his music, and I was like loving it. I'm like, oh my God, wait, slow down. He molested your ears? Like, was that consensual? Like, no, it's electronic. I was like dancing. Dancing, and then I got into like electro globby glob, like retro techno, and I was like DJ Ifme. It was so incredible, and I was like, oh my God, this is what's happening. It's like, but me growing up, like there was just only a few like types of music. Like when I had my quote unquote raver phase in the late 90s, the kind of music that I was listening to was called jungle. Now I'm not talking about like lounge music from the 60s with like and like monkey sounds and like bongo drums. No, I'm talking about drum and bass. So I'll give you just a quick example of what drum and bass sounds like, if you'll bear with me. It's kind of like hip hop that's like sped up 3 times, right? But it's like, to me, it's really danceable. But drum and bass kind of sounds like. So, that's the effects of coffee. That's what happens to you. You get it. You get the idea. That's jungle, drum and bass. And then later on, there was what I call the bastard cousin of jungle that came along, and that's what you call crazy uncle dubstep. I don't know if you know who crazy uncle dubstep is, but he's like the crazy uncle that shows up to your parties and your events and all your little things, and just like, like you're waiting in line at Huntington Bank, and then just like dubstep is playing in the background. He's like the uncle that shows up uninvited to your parties. That's crazy uncle dubstep. And here's the thing about dubstep is like, it's an electronic dance music, right? You're supposed to ostensibly dance to it, but it's just impossible to dance to. If somebody out there has some tips they can provide on how to dance to dubstep, like I think they purposely tried to make a style of music that you could not dance to, and that's crazy uncle dubstep. And he's obnoxious. It really sounds like, it kind of to me sounds like robots, not AI, but like robots making music for each other, and it's either like fight music or it's like porn music. It's like a porn soundtrack, or it's like the sounds of like an anime battle between 500-foot mech robots, right? It's like You can hardly tell the. I mean, really, in the robot world, there's a very, very fine line between sex and war in the robot world. So their music reflects that, right? So dubstep is this thing where I think they're just trying to find the most obnoxious sounds and as possible, just to like overload your mind with a sensory overload, right? It's like dubstep kind of sounds like this. Here, bear with me. Here's dubstep. Here comes Crazy Uncle Dubstep pounding through the door. Oh, God, here he is. Crazy Uncle Dubstep. Hey, everybody. Okay. You get it. Man, the timeline just now on what I was saying, like on the recording, it looked like the human centipede. The waveforms were out of control, guy. I may need throat surgery after that dubstep impression. Here comes Crazy Dubstep, just Mr. Dubstep, Uncle Dubstep, just can't even wait in line at the Huntington Bank. About to get a free mug, gotta listen to Crazy Uncle Dubstep. But yeah, you know, when I did my comedy this past Saturday, at Comedy As You Are at the Voodoo Brewery, right under the clock. Meet me under the clock at the Boston store. Is there anything more central to Erie, PA than the Voodoo? Come on. It's where you should be hanging. It should be the default spot where you chill. When you go to Voodoo, we'll meet you there. And then we'll traverse from there. That's meet me under the clock. Come on, how eerie. How eerie are you people? Be eerie. It's okay to love Erie. Remember that. I love how it's okay to love Erie is so like passive aggressively like guilty. Like, I know, I mean, but it's okay to love Erie. No, it's okay. It's okay. Show me on the doll where Erie touched you. It's okay to love Erie. It's okay to love Erie. We just keep this secret between us. It's okay to love Erie. This is our little secret, Erie, Pennsylvania. My buddy John Parker. Shout out to John Parker, one of the best disc golf players I've ever played with, and also a really talented musician. No, just kidding. He's a really talented comedian. He has some great jokes. I don't know if he does music. Does he do music? Anyway, John Parker had a good joke. He's like, and I'm giving him full credit for this. I guess maybe we collaborated on this, but John said, he goes, they call Presque Isle, Presque Isle is French. The translation from French means almost an island. I'm like, that's ironic because Erie's almost a city. Ba-doom-ts. Did people get mad at me when I did that joke? Did I offend their civic pride at Comedy As You Are when I did that joke? Remember that lady? She said, "There's no there there." They were talking about Erie. There's no there there. It's not the mistake by the lake. Shut up. It's not a mistake. None of God's creations are mistakes. Not the least Erie, Pennsylvania. So I'm here for Erie. You know, I left Florida. I sold my place in Florida. I got the car I wanted. And I moved to Erie. People are like, why Erie? Why would you come here? Are you supposed to leave from Erie? And I'm just like, I wanted to hear what Erie had to say. I kept hearing Erie, Pennsylvania, down in Florida. You don't hear Erie, Pennsylvania in a vacuum. Like, well, if I don't get my ass to Erie, Pennsylvania, I don't know what I might be missing. People are like, why Erie? Why Erie, PA? I'm like, well, did, you know, Mother Teresa, did they ask her why Calcutta? Maybe Erie needs me. Maybe y'all need me, Erie. We have small town vibes, and I'm going to bring everybody together in collective consciousness. The art community, the skater community, the comedy community, the disc golf community. It is my job to be the tie that binds. Why? Why is that? Because I am the Lord of the Emerald Isle. That's correct. My lineage goes back to the 1500s with Jean Cote, who led the first group of settlers that survived the first winter to help settle Quebec, Les Québécois, which is the legend that I'm living by. It doesn't have to be true, but maybe it is. Jean Cote, adventurer and explorer. His lineage as the Lord of the Emerald Isle has now been passed down to me. I accept the mantle thankfully and graciously, with honor, as a Cote, as the guy here for the Golden Age. What is the Golden Age, you say? It's an everlasting era of peace, love, prosperity, cooperation, and camaraderie, not in that particular order. It's where we get to have fun in this world and get to live for the next 1,000 years, so enjoy it. Whatever you got going on right now is where we're going to be stuck. It's going to be a beautiful thing, and we're going to enjoy our future having a cosmic party, and that's what the Golden Age Pauldcast television program aims to do. So, one more again, I'm on Instagram at Cote Comedy, C-O-T-E Comedy. I'm on YouTube as The Golden Age TV Show. I'm on the X Gon' Give It To You as Paul Cote, P-A-U-L-C-O-T-E. I think I'm elsewhere. I'm on Facebooks as PJ Cote. On Facebooks, you can sign up or tell me that you want to come out for the open mic comedy business, Comedy As You Are. So we'll be in future broadcasts, we'll be taking some comedies that we recorded at Comedy As You Are, and we'll just bring them on to the air and play some excerpts and some bits and some skits and some sketches. We're going to make this fun. I want to give a shout out to all the dudes who came to the first Comedy As You Are. There's some really funny dudes. Goog was there. Chris Nick was there. John Parker was there. Scotty G, the legend, was there. Anna Banana was there. There were plenty of others that I've forgotten, but there was a good 9 or 10. So we're going to hopefully keep that going. Anybody who wants to be involved, we would love to have you. It's Comedy As You Are. I mean, you know, nobody's refused. No vetting. You come in, you do your 3, 4, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you feel like you deserve. And we'll let the crowd decide how much you killed it. And hopefully you come out and enjoy it and just do some public speaking. You don't have to be a comic. You don't have to tell a truth. You can tell a lie. You can make up a story. Do some funny voices. And since the people were giving me some good feedback about my impressions, so I'm just going to leave you with one more impression, and I'm going to try to wrap this thing up here pretty close to an hour and a half. So that's pretty much where we're at right now. So I'm just going to leave you with one more impression, or maybe, let's just do that. Yeah, let's do this one, and I think I can sneak in a second. This first one, I like doing kind of impressions of rappers. Grew up in the rap community, or in the rap scene, doing freestyle open mics. This is my impression of Shock G, a.k.a. Humpty Hump. This is Humpty Hump giving a tearful confession at a Sex Addicts Anonymous meeting. I once got busy in a Burger King bathroom. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That was Humpty Hump, rest in power, Humpty, giving a tearful confession at a Sex Addicts Anonymous meeting. All right, so I don't know, man. I kind of feel like I need to save some more of the juice for later. I'm going to do my Cypress Hill impression. I think I'm going to save that for you. I'm going to save that for you. We're going to do that next time because you got to keep a few arrows in the quiver, as it were. And since we're coming back onto it and we're coming up against it at 1 hour and 30 minutes, I think your venerable host, PJ Cote, is going to sign off. There's also a YouTube thing I do called Robots for Your Feet, Robots for Y-E-R Feet. That's my previous incarnation. I was doing funny shoe reviews. They're still funny, poignant, relevant to now. I would love if you check that out also on the YouTube. Just look me up, the Golden Age TV show. I'm done leaning over to suck my own dick, so now we're all finished. Thank you, Bella. Bella only barked a few times, but she definitely made her presence known. Love y'all to the bottom of my heart. This here's PJ Cote signing off for the Golden Age broadcast, aka Pauldcast. Let's go ahead and keep it real for ourselves and others and enjoy this upcoming future of love, light, cooperation, responsibility, fun, camaraderie, yoba doba. It's the Golden Age Podcast.